You put in the hours, you stick to your routines, and you try to build momentum. Yet every attempt to move forward is met with a quiet, invisible drag that makes progress feel exhausting. You probably suspect your environment is at fault. Your personal and financial growth is stalled, and you notice your immediate circle might be holding you back. But the common advice to blindly cut people out of your life feels harsh, cold, and a little too ruthless. We have all heard the old saying that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But if we strip away the self-help mysticism, what we are actually looking at is the hard science of behavioral mirroring. Humans unconsciously adopt the habits, attitudes, and stress levels of their immediate peers. Your social circle dictates where your focus goes, which means choosing who gets your time is a strict matter of resource allocation. Environmental friction acts as a literal, hidden tax on your growth. Deciding to distance yourself from certain influences is not an emotional betrayal. It is a required economic decision to protect your assets. We can approach this through a social audit. This is a method to objectively measure what a relationship is costing you, removing the guilt and preventing you from feeling like a calculating sociopath. We map this out using 2 specific variables. On the vertical axis, we measure the mental exhaustion a person causes. On the horizontal axis, we measure the actual drag they create on your finances and your schedule. The immediate threat lies here, in the high zone. A relationship in this quadrant burns through your psychological bandwidth while actively draining your wallet and your calendar. When we look closely at this threat zone, we find 7 specific archetypes of people who consistently operate as anchors to mediocrity. Auditing these profiles is not about burning bridges in a dramatic fit of rage. It is about identifying the source of the drain and systematically managing their access to you. Treating your social energy like a finite currency ensures you actually have the reserves required to hit your financial and personal objectives. The first group we evaluate are the capital drainers. These individuals actively reduce your financial runway and degrade your physical health. Consider the spend to impress friend. They prioritize flashy cars, designer labels, and keeping up appearances with money they often do not have. Hanging around them means you are subtly pressured to match their frivolous spending, turning their insecurity into your financial deficit. Then there is the bad influence. They anchor socialization to excessive drinking, smoking, or poor lifestyle choices, directly disrupting the productive routines you are trying to build. On our audit ledger, the action is clear. Turn down consumption-centered invitations to protect your baseline capital. The immediate trade-off is short-term FOMO. When you stop spending to impress, that social tier will label you as boring or cheap. You have to absorb that judgment. Tolerating temporary social exclusion is the required entry fee for long-term wealth building. Financial capital can be replenished, but mental bandwidth and psychological momentum are far more fragile. This brings us to the constant naysayer. They view playing devil's advocate as a personality trait, deliberately poking holes in your plans and slowly bleeding your enthusiasm dry. Close to them is the chronic negative thinker. They can have 9 things going perfectly in their life, yet they will ignore those blessings to obsess over a single mistake, continuously poisoning the shared environment. And finally, the obstacle finder. When faced with a new challenge, they immediately tell you not to bother, viewing any difficulty as a reason to surrender rather than an opportunity to create a solution. The operational fix on our ledger is establishing strict conversational boundaries. Withhold your ambitions from these individuals to keep momentum intact. By refusing to engage, they will accuse you of being emotionally distant or suffering from toxic positivity. Optimism is the fuel required for execution. To keep it, you must be entirely comfortable letting them cast you as the bad guy in their personal narrative. The final category represents the most severe threat. These individuals attack the hours in your day and your baseline emotional stability. The time waster actively pulls you away from self-improvement. They prefer hours of mindless scrolling, television, and neutral activities that drag you right back to the status quo. Worse is the toxic partner. Whether a spouse or a long-term significant other, they demand your constant support but are rarely there for you, creating a massive, one-sided emotional deficit. Conversational boundaries aren't enough. The ledger requires drastic access reduction, or actively severing ties to reclaim your time and stability. The trade-off is steep. Cutting these deep-rooted ties results in acute short-term loneliness and significant logistical upheaval. There is no way around that pain. Moving through that short-term emotional distress is the hard cost of building a stable foundation where your successes can actually compound. Now, blindly applying a hard sever to every draining person you know is logistically messy and socially damaging. We filter relationships into two paths: obligatory family ties and elective friendships. For toxic elective ties, you have clearance for a clean removal. Obligatory ties require nuance. Instead of severing, dial back their access and enforce strict conversational boundaries. Curation is about matching the level of access to the structural reality of the relationship. It is precision, not isolation. If you are naturally an empathic overgiver, give yourself permission to start slow. You do not have to cut everyone off tomorrow. Begin by simply delaying your responses to their demands. On the flip side, if you are a highly ambitious optimizer, do not use this framework to dump friends who value rest. Rest is an asset. Toxicity is a liability. By completing this audit, you are making a clear exchange. You are trading immediate social friction today for long-term momentum tomorrow. Review your inner circle this week. Identify where your energy is leaking and accept the temporary discomfort of drawing a hard line. Protecting your time and your energy is not selfish. It is the absolute prerequisite for investing in yourself and ensuring you have anything of value to offer the world.